Hello, hello, hello. Look, it's 7 o'clock and I am on point. So that deserves applause by itself. That deserves applause by itself. Hello, everyone. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug, and you've just joined the Business Plugs Mixer. Go ahead and share it with your friends and family. Tell them we're on. And today we have a very important topic. We're talking about business credit. We're talking about personal credit. I have my guest Elijah Cheeks on, and he's going to tell you all about what you need to know in order to get your credit on point. So, hey, Elijah, how are you?
I am awesome. How are you, Linda?
Doing very well. So, tell my audience about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Elijah. I'm the owner of CBR Capital, where we have a white glove done for you business credit program. But personally, I started off in this industry about a decade and a half ago. I was working in sales in corporate America, climbing the ladder, and I wanted some financial freedom. So I bought a candy kiosk in the mall using business credit cards and owner financing. If you want more details on that whole situation, ask me later. But that kind of catapulted me into understanding the difference between being a business owner that is owned by the business and a business owner that owns their business. So our
Mm.
consulting firm focuses on helping owners no longer be a slave to their business by leveraging business credit versus their personal assets so they can scale and have a great life.
And see, and that's important because one of the things that I hear from small business owners is the access to capital, right? I can't get
Mhm.
enough money. If I could get enough money, then I could do X because they have great ideas, great products and services, but they feel like their ideas are being unheard because they can't find capital. And so what I say, the credit goes along with that. You're talking about using other people's money, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And so, yeah, so you have a presentation that you
mhm.
want to show us. And so if you'll go ahead and cue that, then I'll cue out.
Okay, I'm gonna try and get this going. It's my first time using this share button, so let's see how this works. Share screen. Ooh, this might work. Hopefully it does.
It's going to work. It's going to definitely work.
I don't know if you can see my screen.
I can't see it yet.
Okay, follow these steps. Chrome has lost permission. How about we do this?
And for those of you who are here, while he's doing that, while he's setting up the queue, I want to remind you that in this month of March, it is our ninth birthday at LS&B Business Solutions. And so, in honor of it being our ninth birthday, we have business plans on sale. So, if you know anyone that needs a business plan, right? Because when you're talking about funding, when you're talking about going for grants, most times, if you're going for any significant amount of money, they want to know if you have a business plan. Nobody wants to jump into a business that doesn't have a plan. So we are having a 10% off through the month of March on business plans. You can go to getthebusiness.org to get that information. And we will be there to answer your questions about our business plans. If you are watching, if you are watching, you can post your comments, say hi, like let us know you're out there. Is it a PowerPoint, Elijah?
It is.
If you can, you email it to me.
I can.
If you email it to me, I can cue it for you.
That would be awesome. Let me do that.
Technology is perfect until it's not, and so
Right?
workarounds. I have to have workarounds. They keep me
Absolutely.
sane. They keep me sane.
And you should be getting that email any second now.
Okay.
Just sent it.
Which email address?
Let's see.
The LSMB or the info?
The LSMB.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She asked me where to look. Got it.
Nice. Thank you for your help.
No problem. Hey, I tell you, with technology, you have to have workarounds. It is imperative. And so I am going to share my screen in just a second.
Will I be able to change the slides?
I don't think you will, but if you'll take next slide, I'm right here. I'll change it for you. No problem.
Oh, I think I might be able to upload it myself. I think I might have found the same thing that you were going to do for me in a second. I might have figured it out.
Okay.
It says processing, so.
Okay, you uploaded to the slide share?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that way I can try and do
You
it
can
that
control
way.
it. Uh-huh.
Let's see. Well, in the meanwhile, while that's processing, for those of you who are unfamiliar with business credit, what I'm going to talk about today is how to build business credit. So that way you can access capital that's not in your business name. For those of you who have some issues with your personal credit, the good news is you can actually still access this business capital even if your personal credit isn't up to par. If you want to learn more about how to build your personal credit or fix your personal credit or actually get it done for you, that's a service that we provide and coach on in our program too. So that's something that we can talk about. I think this guy is just about ready to go. Oh, here he goes.
And there you are. And I'm going to go out and let you have it.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for your time. I know there's anywhere on the planet that you could be, and you chose to be here today with us. And my name again is Elijah Cheeks, owner of CBR Capital, and I'm excited to talk to you about accessing business capital without risking your personal credit. The first thing that I'd love to share with you is that in the space of accessing your business capital, you really need to consider what type of business you're running. This is great for anyone. This information is great for anyone who has a business that did over $100,000 last year. They have over 685 FICO score already. And more importantly, they're tired of using their personal assets to grow their business. If that's you, then this is going to really help you. So I hope you take some notes or you rewatch this recording so that way you can access capital without risking your assets. I need to talk about why business credit is important first. In the 1980s, they made a rule where a business entity in the United States of America is an entire entity, like a human, a separate person. That's why it can be taxed differently. It's not like that in every country. The reason why that's so important is this gives us owners, entrepreneurs, the opportunity to grow multiple businesses and risk capital that is attached to those businesses instead of risking our personal assets that we might have spent our entire life earning, saving, and investing with. I also think about success. A lot of owners are success driven, they're achievement driven. When I think about these types of people, I think about celebrities like Jay-Z and Kanye West that are constantly focused on more success in business outside of their musical career. I think about Richard Branson, and that's why you see this slide here with all of these Richard Branson businesses, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Cosmetics. One thing that most people don't know is that Virgin, even though it's a successful company, one thing is every single Virgin company that he's owned has not been successful. His first actual newspaper, The Student, not newspaper, magazine, The Student wasn't that successful. And I share that with you because he's had over 15 businesses that some will say are failures because financially they didn't succeed. But no one would ever call Richard Branson a failure. And I really think you should take that to heart as an owner, because you may have a business idea that may not be working out or a goal that's not working out. I want you to know that that's okay, right? 8 out of 10 businesses fail in their first 5 years, mostly due to financial reasons. But that doesn't mean 8 out of 10 business owners fail. See, as an owner, you can have multiple businesses. If you want to put the odds in your favor, my simple advice would be start 10 businesses, right? That way you know that it's going to work out. Now, financially, that could be hard if you're doing it with your own money. But if you learn how to leverage, then you can rinse and repeat like some of the moguls we talked about a second ago. So there are specific steps to building business credit. And why did I put this picture of this guy on this slide? Well, the reason why is because even though we think it's the banker that we're trying to convince when we want to get a business loan or access business capital, it's not. It's someone much older than that person. It's someone that is probably a politician, because a lot of the regulations that banks follow mirror government regulations that are made by politicians who are in their 60s and 70s, who have been in business in the past, but they have some weird compliance rules that don't really make sense for 2022, but they made sense in 1992 or 1982. I'm going to talk about those compliance steps. And even though some of them may seem like they're no big deal, I assure you that it could be the difference between accessing 6 figures in capital that's in your business's name and literally getting declined. So I really want you to listen closely. When it comes to building your business's credibility, it starts off with all of these things on the checklist. 1, the name has to be compliant, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. The business address, phone number, email, website, the way that it's registered with the Secretary of State and the bank account. All this stuff doesn't sound super sexy, but these are the finer points, the I's that we have to dot and the T's we have to cross to just begin building business credit and to begin having access to business credit, whether our credit is good or bad. Now, here's a caveat I want to share with you. For those of you who have great credit, this will add more value for you because you can access capital that is in your business's name that you're the guarantor for if you have a great FICO score. Now, the fact that it's in your business's name, but you're the personal guarantor, what that means is that if you were to default, like not pay the debt, then it could affect your personal credit and it could end up as a collection or a charge-off. Now, if it's unsecured debt, like a credit card or a line of credit that's not connected to anything but the business, you won't risk any of your assets. You won't risk your home. You won't risk any of your cars or your 401k. Your score may go down. And if you are part of our program and you know how to delete things that are negative derogatories off of your credit, then your score will go right back up right after it's deleted in 3 to 6 months. So that whole process and rigmarole is more than any business owner probably wants to go through. However, there are solutions even when things don't work out. So never feel like you're at the behest of the banks. Never feel like you're the victim. Always realize that you have complete control. You just have to understand how to move every lever. So the first thing is your business name. Your business name is something that has to match on the Secretary of State, on your business bank statements, on your business website. And it's always advised that you first go to namecheck.com to make sure that the business name is available on all those platforms. The Secretary of State in your state is usually the easiest place to make sure that your business name isn't taken. However, on the internet, which is a more vast place, that website may be taken, that email address may be taken, that Facebook page may be taken. So if you can have all of those data points be the same, and then I would actually get your domain before you actually go ahead and get your Secretary of State business. If you're a brand new startup and you're starting out, I would do that first. If you're not brand new, you can always do a name change if these consistencies aren't there. But you always want to stay away from the restricted list. And businesses on the restricted list include companies that are in credit repair, companies that are, there's a whole list. I won't go through the entire list, but firearms, the alcohol industry, and the sex industry are all on the restricted list, and the drug industry, right? So when I say drug industry, I'm specifically talking about marijuana that's not federally legal. It's only legal in specific states. When you do get your business, you want to make sure you have a business address that is a real brick and mortar. What that means is that it's a business address that mail could be delivered to, and a person could grab that mail. You don't want to use a PO box, and you don't want to use a UPS address. Even though a UPS address may look like a suite, Google Analytics will, which is used by a lot of lenders, where they'll Google your office to find it, will show that it's a UPS address, and they'll automatically flag that as a not fundable business. Because of COVID, using your home isn't the worst idea. For more access to capital, it is better to have an office that has 4 walls and a key. Regis has a great resource for this. We have no affiliate to them, but we do really believe in using regis.com. A lot of our clients do for getting their business office. Now, you also want to make sure that if you are using that form of a virtual business office, that you don't get the cheapest plan possible that only allows you to have a mailbox. There's a specific plan that allows you to have like a concierge service, costs around $200 a month. And what that allows for is people to call your office and the secretary will pick up. Someone that will be there to sign for packages for you, which is necessary during the funding round because typically that's where your business credit cards will be sent. And someone will need to sign for them. Otherwise, some creditors and lenders will simply decline you. Okay. So having a compliant business and a compliant office is integral for your success. Next is your phone number. Now, as a business owner, when we're new, sometimes we're bootstrapping it. So we're using Google Voice because it's free. We're using our cell phone, and those are not recommended tools to be used for your business phone number. It's advised that you actually get an 800 number. It's something that makes the vendor more comfortable. They want your business to have the appearance and feel of a large corporation. So a toll-free number from freedomvoice.com, a website we have no affiliation to, or culture.com or phone.com will suffice. They're about $10 a month. And you can leave a voicemail message on it that's professional, guiding them to your website, or you could use it as a line that you pick up in your business, depending on the type of business you run. It's also wise to have a separate business phone line that is the same area code of the area you are in, right? So if you are in Massachusetts and the zip code, the area code is 617, you don't have a 617 number. That is a business number, not your cell phone, not your home phone, and an 800 number. This will help you when you're actually applying for vendor debt, because a lot of times they'll ask for your 800 number and they'll ask for your phone number. Your email address. A lot of times when people are new, they will have an email address that's like the company's name at gmail.com, which is great for when you're starting. However, you should use your name at yourcompany.com, which means you'd have to buy a domain. And it also means you would have to buy an email to go with that domain from G Suite or some other server. You can get one from GoDaddy, but G Suite is very easy to purchase. It's only $6 a month. But this way you'll have a professional email to put on all those business lending applications and everything you need to acquire vendor debt to build your business credit. Without that, again, it's an auto decline. If you need a website built so that way it's compliant, you can go to digitalbusinessexpansion.com. That is one of our affiliate partners that makes compliant-based business websites. So that way you can have a business fundable website. Now, if you want more digital services, they can help you with that. But those templates are fair priced, and they make them within a week, which I think is really nice. So that way you can have it if you're about to do a funding round. But a compliant business website would have your business address that you just got that was compliant. It would have your business phone numbers. It would have your business email. This would all be like in the contact section or the about us section. When you're being underwritten by most lenders, this is something that they do. They'll go to your website and they'll look for this data. And what they're looking for is consistency. They're looking for the same consistency on the bank statement, on the Secretary of State, and they're just cross-referencing. So if you can get this all together, it'll make your life a lot easier, a lot better. I think about our client Isaiah that we were able to do this for. We were able to help him make his business compliant. Now, he had a business plan, had a vision, a team. He actually had accountants on his team that didn't actually know the information that we're sharing with you now. So for those of you who have accountants and you're wondering, why isn't my accountant never told me this? Well, there's usually two reasons. Accountants' jobs are to help you with whatever you tell them to do. So they're not going to typically go out of their way. And they want to avoid litigation. So if they tell you something and then it doesn't go the right way and then you attempt to sue them, they don't want to ever have that problem or be at fault. So this information, even though it's public data, it's well-known information, sometimes even accountants ignore it, even the ones on your team. So Isaiah's team for Urban Football Matrix was able to obtain over $300,000 in funding in just a year's time of working with us. And the reason why they were able to do this is because we helped them with these data points. We also positioned them for SBA lending. We also positioned them for business credit card lending and business term loan lending and some personal lending tools also. They needed all of this to get off the ground, and we were able to do this during the midst of COVID too. So if you're someone who's looking to grow and you want a lot of access to capital, these steps do make a big difference. And some of you I know right now could go into a bank and get a credit card for 20 grand in your name. But that does mean that your credit score is going to fluctuate whenever you use it. Some of you can get a line of credit on your house right now for 50 grand, no problem. But that means that if things go wrong, you might lose your house. What we're doing for our clients is always making sure that we're getting as much capital as possible with the least risk to personal assets attached to it. Your LLC, your EIN, your business license, they have to be active. You have to make sure you're registered. In some cases for funding, you don't have to be current for taxes, depending on the type of funding you're doing. For others, you do. The next thing is your bank account. Having a business bank account is so important. You don't want to have a personal bank account that all of your business income is going into if you want to obtain funding. So for business banking, you can go to any bank, any credit union, whatever the case may be. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that the information you give them matches the information on the Secretary of State and on your website. So the address, the phone number, the fax, the email, all of that information being the same will have a massive positive impact on your ability to get funded. Now that all of this data is the same, all the data points are correct, you double checked it, you want to make sure that this information is now public. One reason why it's also nice to get a Regis office versus your personal home is you're going to make this information public. It's going to be on the 401 National Directory. It's going to be able to be found on Google, Bing, and Yahoo. The easiest way to do this is to go to listyourself.net. For a fee, you can list yourself on all these platforms. Now, you can start building business credit. At this point, some of you actually with good credit, good personal credit, would actually be able to do a funding round. I mean, depending on your score, you might be able to be like one of our clients, Michelle, who owns a PR firm. She was able to get 80,000 in business credit cards. She used that funding to purchase a second business, which was an e-commerce brand that allowed her to have multiple streams of income while she raises her family. Some people like to go that route and then start building their business credit. Some people, they just go straight with building their business credit, and they're not as in much of a need for immediate capital. If that's you, then the next step would be to go to nav.com. So that way you can start doing business credit monitoring. The reason why you want to start doing business credit monitoring is because there's three main bureaus you're going to focus on: Business Equifax, Experian, and Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet produces what's called a Paydex score. Business Experian and Business Equifax produce separate scores also. These scores vary. Dun & Bradstreet goes from 0 to 100. Business Experian and Business Equifax have different scales. Your goal when you're actually building business credit is very similar to personal credit. What your goal is to do is to buy things using credit and then pay that credit off. Now, the easiest and best way to do this is to use vendors. There are vendors in the business credit world that will extend credit for 30 days and then you have to pay it off. Very similar to a charge card. Now, these vendors will not report to the business credit bureaus unless you spend at least a minimum of $75 with them for them to report it. These business credit vendors also don't report to every single bureau. Just like on your personal credit, sometimes things only get reported to one bureau, sometimes all three. Well, business credit, it's very similar. So in order to build business credit correctly, you kind of have to go in a certain order where you do what's called the tier 1 net 30 accounts, your tier 2 net 30s, and your tier 3. The reason why we call them tier 1, 2, and 3 is because tier 1 are the net 30s that anyone with a compliant business can get. Tier 2 are the net 30s that you have to have some tier 1 vendor debt first and have a paydex score that's reporting in order to be given tier 2. And then tier 3 is simply the same thing. You have to have some tier 2 reporting data, some prerequisites before you can get tier 3. After getting all tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 vendors, you will then have the opportunity to access some capital. That's actual business credit cards that are not in your personal name. You also will be able to access machinery. Some of our clients are running businesses where they post cars on Turo and hire car. They're running car fleets. One of our clients, Scotty, was able to get 12 cars right after we helped him with his personal credit and his business credit, and some are just in his business's name. The reason why that was able to happen was because after this, we did a car funding round where instead of getting a bunch of loan products, he got a bunch of automobiles, which are easier to get than loans because the collateral is the car. And if the company wants to default on you, they'll just take the car. So because of that, it's easier, believe it or not, to get, a couple $100,000 in cars than it is to get a couple $100,000 in capital. So here are some of the tier 1 and tier 2 net 30s that are out there. Strategic Network Solutions, Summa Office Supplies, Uline, Quill. You may have heard of some of these. The rule of thumb is you want to do at least 5 of them when you're new. And when you get NAV, there's a free service, there's a paid service, and then there's like a more expensive paid service. It's in your best interest if you're building business credit to get the most expensive paid service with NAV, because they will actually give you a trade line on your business credit at the same time. So it'll build your credit also. After you get those first 5, you'll have a reporting paydex score of somewhere around 70, 75, as long as you pay them off in the 30 days or less, or 10 days or 15 days. We found that it's best to pay them within the first 10 to 15 days to have a higher paydex score, because it'll show that it was paid off sooner. And your paydex score, again, is a score that's reported by Dun & Bradstreet. It's one that's very commonly looked at in the business credit space. Then you can move on to the next 5. When you get to 15, you did 5 tier 1s, 5 tier 2s, and 5 tier 3s. There's some opportunity here for you. Some of the opportunity that exists, you can actually go ahead and get Visa, Master, and Discover cards for your business. You can lease a car in your company's name using the bank Ally Financial. We really encourage people to use that bank when their business credit is high. You can get a brand new Mercedes with 0 down payment and a 2.5% interest rate or lower. And it's not even in your name. It doesn't show up on your credit. It doesn't affect your credit. It's completely in your business name, right? And that would be great if you have a business that requires a truck. We have a trucking company owner who works with us, and he's very happy about learning how to get trucks in his business name versus his personal name, because that's heavy on his personal credit. The other thing is, if you've been in business for over 2 years, and not only have you been in business for over 2 years, but you have these 15 trade lines and you're doing over 5 million in revenue annually, then there's more business corporate credit cards that are available to you. The ones that have like no limit that you can hand out to employees, and Amex as long as they're paid off in that month. That's how corporate credit is built, so that way it could be used by multiple people in a company and a team, depending on the size of your team. But all those data points have to be hit first. Some non-personal guarantor business credit cards and charge cards that are out there include the Divvy card. This is a charge card that you can get that once your business credit is built and you have some revenue, they do check your personal credit. They don't put anything on your personal credit, but they do want to see that you have, I believe, above a 660 FICO score. So you don't have to have the best credit, but it can't be bad. Sam's Club gives a card where they don't check your personal credit. They only check your business credit. And it's a true master credit card that can be used anywhere. And it goes anywhere between, a couple of $1,000s all the way up to $25,000 is the limit, depending on how your vendor debt's been paid and how much vendor debt you've had. That's how they base that. But you can go to these websites, Clearbank, Hatch, Charity Charge Card, 5 Star, Ramp, and Brex to learn about their programs too. Most of them are charge cards or have some other caveat where they're connected to other companies. But these are forms of access to capital that you can have just from building your business credit. Now, for those of you who are excited about a funding round and you want to know what the ideal personal credit is for business funding, and also if you want to work with us, there's a couple of things I want to let you know. For one, you can get 5 times your strongest personal credit card over 2 years. Um, uh, I'm sorry, you can get business credit that is equal to 5 times your biggest credit cards. So if you have a credit card that's 2 years old, that's 10 grand, you could do a funding round that adds up to $50,000 possibly in business credit, 20 to 50 grand, right? So it's always in your best interest to maintain good credit, have a utilization that's under 35%, 690 on all 3 credit bureaus for your personal credit. You want to have 2 or more credit cards. You want them to have at least a $2,500 limit. If you don't know how to increase your limits to your cards, do a call with us. We'll teach you how to boost your limits through manufactured spending. There's also a caveat. You can't have no lates in the last 24 months, no bankruptcies, no charge-offs, no collections. And if you don't have this type of credit, if you have a credit partner that does meet this requirements, whether they're in your company or not, you still can access funding on your business using that credit partner. If you want more details on that, feel free to text us after this is done, or join our get time with us on our site. Just schedule time. So our flagship program is the Ready and Fund program. For those of you who are excited to do this yourself, there is a DIY option. That there's tons of DIY options out there, and the YouTube has a lot of white noise out there about business credit that you can try and decipher through, and it may be frustrating. It might take a couple of years, but if you're diligent and hardworking and don't give up, I am confident that in a couple of years you will get there and you will be able to access capital and you will be able to climb that ladder. And I know this because I've gone through that experience. I've met clients who've gone through that experience, and what we've decided to do was get rid of all the white noise and make everything simple. So we have a white glove system where we handhold our clients through fixing their personal credit. We'll do 3 complimentary credit sweeps for them with our team. We'll help them with entity compliance as much as possible. We have a web developer on staff who will actually build a website for them that's compliant, that could be separate from their own website that they use for business. We have staff that will do Zoom calls with our clients to walk them through all of their tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 net 30s. We have a grant writer on staff who will research grants for your company, write grants for you, and there's a success fee attached to that, but we have that as part of our program for all of our VIP clients. And then we build them a custom bank list. This gives them the opportunity to choose what type of banks they want to get funding for. There are different banks that will give business lines of credit, which is different than business credit cards, and that's a little bit more in depth and also a little bit more exciting when it comes to capital. And if you want to schedule time to talk to us, we'll dive into what that means and what that looks like. However, that bank list makes it a lot easier because it's a local bank list made just for you. And anyone else who we deem is like a good person to work with is also going to have a Zoom call with me every single month where we're guiding them through their business, coaching them through the process of 5Xing their business. Our mindset is very simple. We want to make sure that not only do we get rid of the white noise that hold business owners back from getting business credit, we want to get rid of the white noise that hold them back from actually growing their business and growing themselves. So our process is very simple. We focus on funding, and then we focus on niching. This sometimes is encouraged that they use some of that funding to get coaching from a growth guru or a business guru in their actual space. We always guide them in that direction. And after they've niched, then we encourage them to spend on marketing with that same funding. And the whole purpose of this is to 5X the business without having to 5X their effort. By being more strategic, by marketing more intelligently, by leveraging more intelligently, and then they can rinse and repeat with other businesses, or if it doesn't work out, they can start another entity and do it again. We do year-long engagements with our clients. We get a lot of renewals because of how hands-on we are. But because we are so hands-on, we always do a Zoom to make sure that we're a good fit for each other, to connect, and then we welcome you into the family. Our team is full of friendly people who like to help, who actually love this business, who use it for some of their other businesses and entities. So we're all drinking the same Kool-Aid, and we all have a lot of fun doing it. So if you're someone who would appreciate the hand holding, who would appreciate the gentle touch of coaching and consulting at the same time to help you get to where you want to be from where you are, then all you have to do is visit us at cbrcapital.com, and you can directly schedule with me on a Zoom, and we'll just connect about your business, about you. We'll see if this is a good fit for both of us. If not, no big deal. If it is, though, we're going to go on for a great ride. If you're too busy to do that, just text VIP to 732-798-5587, and you'll get a reply, and some of our team members will reach out to you, and we'll see if we can help you out. But I want to thank you for your time. You could be anywhere on the planet Earth, and you decided to be here with us today, and that is more than appreciated. So that's everything we have for today. Thanks a lot.
Wow, that was so good. I mean, you broke it down for us, so we're able to understand it. You made it easy to understand. When you talking about, and we're going to talk very specifically, who should be already clicking the link to make the appointment for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. If you're a business owner and you're just tired of using your personal assets to grow your business, you definitely should click the link. If you're someone with a great FICO score and a great idea and a war chest of cash, but you just find yourself not moving, you're kind of got some inertia, then you should click the link, because we will be your accountability buddy towards all the goals that you have. Our team will hold you accountable on a week-by-week basis, bi-week basis in the month, and then I'll hold you accountable, and we'll make sure you get there. We do care, so if you're someone who cares about their business, then you're the right person. Those are the people that I think should click the link.
I love it. So are there any specific industries that do well with this program?
Yeah, we've had a lot of success with consultants, car fleets, real estate investors, and people who run service-based businesses, right? Like dental offices, professionals in that regard, So those are the businesses that we've had the most success with, and that we're currently having a lot of success with.
I love it. So if you fall in that realm, if your business is in that wheelhouse, if that's in your wheelhouse, then you may want to click the link. I mean, at any length, it is having the conversation, right? To see if it's a good fit, see if it's going to be something to work out. Because the whole goal is, I get the question all the time, or I hear people say, when I ask, what is your biggest challenge? It's always capital. It's always capital. I mean, and then I'll say, well, do you have your business plan? Do you have your licensing? Do you have all these other things? They're like, well, working on that part, but sometimes you need somebody to hold your hand and walk you through the process, and then make sure that the outcome is that you start getting capital to help you to scale your business. Because people have great ideas. They have so many great ideas. And if they had understood how to get the funding to support those ideas, especially using other people's money, like you see some of the millionaires, they don't use your money. They don't use their own money. They use other people's money in order to do what they need to do. So I thank you for your yes. I thank you for coming on and helping us. If you're watching this in the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay, click the subscription button in YouTube and the notification buttons in Facebook and LinkedIn. That way you'll know every Sunday when we come on at 7:00 on the Business Plugs Mixer. Because every Sunday we bring juicy stuff like this, right? To help you to build your business, to build your own business. I'm all about business owners being intelligent about their businesses and that they are actually ingrained in the process. And so not like they sitting back while somebody is doing all the work. I love that you hold them accountable, because it makes a smart business person when you understand how to control your capital, how to control your finances. So this has been great. I've enjoyed it. I was sitting back there thinking, oh, this is great. Yes, yes, I am going to be pushing it everywhere because we all need this information if we're going to do business well.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is one of the major tools that every business owner should have in their tool belt. Just like they have a marketing plan, they should have a funding plan. And
Absolutely.
for most of us, the venture capitalist route and the Silicon Valley route isn't as plausible and possible. For some of us, the trust fund route or the asking the parent route isn't as plausible and possible. But for every single one of us, it is possible to build our business credit, get access to capital, fix and enhance our personal credit, and
Mm,
do it over and over and over again and create an army, not one or two, an army of businesses that protect your personal assets, your family, your goals, while you have fun running businesses, not have these businesses wring the life out of you. So that's what we care about at CBR, and that's what we want you to care about. Looking
absolutely,
at great
absolutely. And it sounds like that's what we should be caring about, right?
lives.
Because part of that is having that freedom. And a lot of us just create another job that's overwhelming us. And so this is a strategy to help us to do business well, to do business better than what we've known before. So I love this. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So your parting words for anyone who is a first time listening. Like, first of all, we're going to tell them to go back and hit the replay. Make sure you do that. But then in addition to that, what parting words do you have for us?
Parting words. There's a really cool quote by Einstein that I like, and it goes, "You cannot solve a problem with the same form of thinking that you arrive to that problem with." And I think that's such a profound quote because as owners and as entrepreneurs, we work so hard. And sometimes we're doing it in an insane way, right? We're doing the same thing and not getting new results. But the real thing that we need to investigate isn't what we're doing, but what we're thinking that's leading us to do those things. Because sometimes
Absolutely.
it's a scarcity mindset that holds us back. Sometimes it's lack of goals or false goals. Sometimes it's just that, and maybe you can't figure it out because of those blind spots. So I encourage you to get someone, whether it's a coach, a consultant, or a mentor, to help you figure out what that is to make it easier for you to make that next step. So that way it's not 5 or 10 years before you 5x, but it's one or two.
Absolutely. That's great stuff. That is really great stuff. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you'll hold for a minute, I'm going to close this out. You all have just listened to the Business Plugs Mixer here on LinkedIn, on Facebook Live, and on YouTube. Go ahead and hit the like buttons, share, make your comments. We'll come back and check for any questions that you might have if you're catching this in the replay. Every Sunday here at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're here to bring information to you to help to make your business life better. So you all have a great evening, and thank you for joining us on the Business Plugs Mixer.